I want to say aloha or bonjour.
Aloha. Boy, the people in Hawaii could use that right now.
Just saw my friend from, he's on the Big Island on the Hilo side, and he said they're getting hammered
Wow.
from lots of rain. So
it's crazy. Sounds like it's affecting a lot of the island too. So
they always have. I mean, the Hilo side always has a lot of rain.
yeah, true. It does. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, Julie.
Good
Two psychic moms.
Good morning, Tammy. And we have, I'll bring him in more later, but
he's so adorable. Did he say something? I didn't hear him.
hey, let's see if I can get it closer to the, hold on.
He's just adorable. He's laughing like I am. Oh, I love it. He's so cute. He's so cute. Did he come like in I don't understand. Is that like a bag he's in?
A backpack or a bag that he was
it looks
in?
like it could be a purse or something.
Yeah. It's like the backpack thing that he was in inside the.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh yeah. So I see. I don't watch enough of it, I guess. He's adorable.
Because I don't have enough stuff laying around.
Well, what a sweet gift to give to yourself, Julie.
He was back there, but you couldn't see him, so I thought, oh, I'll bring him forward.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're just
having some fun here.
Good to be a kid sometimes, right?
Oh yes, that's like my middle name. Speaking of that, we'll go into, of course, our channel message here in a moment. But maybe I've spoken about this before, but somebody had told me, somebody who does astrology, right? So I'm speaking Western astrology, that where let me think about it, where your sun is in your chart, whatever house it's in, you tend to put a lot of energy and so forth into that particular part of your, chart, right? So I thought, well, I know some things about astrology. I'm certainly not an expert on it, but I definitely know things about it. I have an interest in it for sure, and did when I was younger a lot. So anyway, I looked, at because I do have my chart and everything. Well, my son is in the 5th house. And then I was reading about the 5th house and I'm like, oh my God, that totally makes sense for me. Because it's a lot about creativity, childhood, childlike feelings and all that, and children in general. And those light up moments where you're like, I wasn't trying to fit it into what I thought. I just thought, I feel like I'm not centered here, sorry. I just thought, oh my gosh, that makes complete sense. I've always been fat. I mean, I have 2 children of my own that are grown, but young adults. But I always had a fascination watching children. I remember I loved my child psychology class in high school because I loved the idea. I had at that time 2 little nephew and nieces. And part of the, homework and all was to observe them and all that, which was just right up my alley because I love that stuff. I was fascinated with children's behavior and all of that. And I'm very sentimental about things of my childhood. I like to have fun and go into the child within. But no, it was so funny because when I heard that and saw that, I'm like, oh my God, for me, it was spot on. I totally got it. Anyway, since we were talking about childhood stuff.
I'm going to go look mine up because I'm pretty sure mine, I don't know mine. I don't even know where my childlike quality is. It's when I give my self permission to sit and do something like that. It definitely come out. I mean, I love having fun as much as the next person.
Right.
And Disneyland is probably my favorite place on earth, with Hawaii a close second.
Yeah, right.
Because I literally can just let go and be completely childlike and free at Disneyland and nobody judges me, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah, I'm going to give a little story really quickly to that. And I was thinking about this the other day, speaking of Disneyland. This was several years ago. Okay. 59 now. I was well into my 50s, whenever it was that I'm thinking about this time. And I had my Mickey ears on, the whole family did. And, anything goes at Disneyland, right? So I was in the bathroom. What's that?
I said I have a whole bunch of Mickey ears over here.
Oh, I love that. Yay. And I was in the bathroom adjusting my hat and my ears in the mirror. And I happen to look over and I see this young girl. She's probably young teen, you know, I don't know, 15 to 7. No, I'll guess 15. And you know how, well, because we're intuitive, I was also picking up the energy, but I was being judged, totally being judged. She's looking at me at little, you know, it's not, sorry, I'm going to say it because she obviously has a thing or two to learn because it was rude anyway, just to stare, right? But she's watching me and I know what she's thinking. She's like kind of looking at me like, it's almost like, who do you think you are? How old are you? You're like worried about how you look in your Mickey ears in the mirror. I could feel it.
Wow.
I was so close to saying something. Oh man, you know, more along the lines of, you are never too old. Just keep this in mind, this moment, because you too will be in your 50s if you're lucky. Yeah, exactly, to be in your 50s. And I hope you feel like I do at this moment. I was having so much fun, and that's the time when, like you said, Julie, you can just kind of let loose there. It doesn't matter what age you are. And I do say that. And you know, in the future, I'll be wearing my Mickey ears and having fun there, you know, but it's so funny. I never forgot that. Cause I mean, I had a couple of feelings with that, like what a rude child, first of all, I'm sorry, but to make it kind of obvious enough, she didn't even like have the courtesy to look away.
You know, it's so funny because I have to
get the courtesy to look away. She just kind of is like looking at me like with that total judging look. And I thought, okay, I went there a moment like, okay, you know, where someone's trying to dethrone your power. I think for a nanosecond, it was like, oh, maybe. And I'm like, heck no, I own these.
Now my ears match my hair.
It looks adorable on you. Oh my gosh. That's so cute. What's on the bow? Are they, is it like the flag colors or what is that?
This is, it's winter time. And this is the only one that I could put on that didn't hurt my head. You know how
yeah. Some of them do, yeah. Or they don't stay on that well or something, but yeah. Oh, those are cute.
It didn't even occur to me that the pom-poms look like, I mean, they just fit in with my hair. Anyway, we're off and running, right? I mean,
but I hope that message was helpful. Child within. Oh.
Well, really, it's that time of year, so we should just let the child within.
Exactly, that's a good point. It is
the Mandalorian child, or maybe I'll just wear it throughout the whole thing. So
I think you should. If I had mine handy, I'd put mine on too. They're up in the closet.
Well, a bunch of them came off when I did. Anyway, it's a long story. Anyway, so yes, hello. We are two psychic moms having a lot of fun today.
Yeah.
So fun is, I guess, the name of the game today. You know, why not?
Yeah. And exploring your child within. So really, you know,
sometimes
that reminds you, right?
Because sometimes we get very serious here, and often we're very serious here. And
yeah.
And I get asked, I have a friend my friend from Hawaii who I just had lunch with, and he asks very serious questions sometimes. And so sometimes I just want to let the inner Mickey girl.
Exactly. That looks so cute on you. And I love how it does match your color of your hair. It's like it's just meant, you know, so it's like for you.
Oh, my gray grows out. I'm working on letting my gray grow out from the back to the front.
Yeah. Well, it's going to look fabulous.
We'll see. I don't know if I can handle it. Anyway, so we are, if you don't know who we are, you have seen a different side of us now. We are Tammy Langowski of Tammy's Intuitive Services. And I am Julie Hawkins from the Biz Psychic, and we are two psychic moms together. And of course, we give readings individually and channel messages together and individually. And so, yeah, we do this segment, Two Psychic Moms, generally speaking, every Tuesday morning. We try to get it posted to our YouTube channel, Two Psychic Moms, #2, by the end of the day. And then if I remember, I share it. I share it when I can share it, to remember to share it. Yeah. So that's what we do. And so we ask that you send us your burning questions. Please send us your burning questions. Well, they don't have to be burning, but you know, your Wow, I wonder about that. So I'll share. This is a great thing to give you maybe some inspiration, right? My next door neighbor was just gave birth to her second daughter,
Aw.
and her father and mother came to stay with them, and so I saw them out one day, and we just started chatting, and I said, well, you know what I do, because we were talking about, I said, I'm not surprised that she went into labor, because she just didn't look, there was something off. I cannot even tell you what it is to this day, what I felt, but something a little off. And I think the next day she went into labor. And so, anyway, we don't have to go there. But anyway, so we started talking about this, and I said, well, you know what I do for a living, right? And they're like, no. And I said, well, I'm a psychic, or I do intuitive work and teach. I used to teach that, and blah, blah, blah. And so we were off and running. And his whole thing right now, he's by, I think, training and education, an engineer, and his interest is in quantum mechanics. And I'm like, I mean, not at all, right? Exactly. And so then we started talking about near-death experiences and what books had we read, and So I gave him a book on the Akashic field, and he's sending me some book on near-death experiences. So it could be from the quantum to near-death experiences, any questions that you have. And hopefully our guides are far more intelligent than maybe intelligence is not it, but tap into that knowledge and will share that with us. So
Yeah.
And if not my Akashic guides, then my new teacher, Aluri, I think is looking for those kinds of questions to teach me. I don't know why. Know why. Anyway, so those are the kinds of things that we would love to have you ask us. Or the mundane. It could be, are we going to have lots of rain, which in California, which in our neck of the woods is what my guides told me already maybe a month ago. I don't know. I think I spoke about it, but that we were going to have a good rainy season. So,
yeah.
All right.
Well, it was a surprise anyway for us last night, I think, when I saw everything wet here in Northern California, South Bay area. I didn't know about it. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it must rain last night. So that was good.
Well, I do look at the weather, so it wasn't a surprise. I knew it was coming, but
I missed it because I always follow the weather too. So I was kind of surprised. So that was good. But yeah, no, we do definitely welcome your questions.
All righty.
So should we start with the one for?
Yes, we have a couple of questions. Actually, you're going to read Daphne's first question from that she posted on our channel, and then I'm going to do a follow-on one for us, so we'll both chime in and we're off and running. So
okay, sounds good. So the one from Daphne was, she wanted to ask about a question on smudging. So saging, smudging, both words are acceptable. Traditionally, the smoke of sacred herbs is what helps cleanse the energy. If in the case that smoke is not allowed in a place, does smudging sprays work to cleanse energies? These sprays are made from the essential oils of sage, lavender, or other herbs. What about adding these essential oils into a humidifier? Will the smoke of the humidifier cleanse energies? Okay, it's a really good question. I don't think we've ever really talked about that before. I do a lot of house clearings. I have done a lot of house clearings where I use sage and I burn sage. So of course, I'm going to give you a little bit of it's going to be a mix of what I'm channeling and what I just kind of know from doing. So we're speaking of saging a home where you burn sage, the smoke comes up. I'm just kind of giving you an example, and you might wave it around the room if people don't know really what that is. It's also called smudging. And so first of all, okay, so I really do believe there's a benefit to it. I think from my experience, when I've gone in and I call it more saging, when I've saged a place, I can feel literally the energy change and shift after I've done it. How I go about doing it is I do it with a prayer. I like to have windows open a little bit because kind of the understanding is that if there's any negative energy that's kind of hanging out in a space, it tends to cling to the smoke. And so why not have a place for it to go? It's not absolutely mandatory. Obviously, there are bathrooms and things that do not have windows. But if you are going to sage, it's kind of nice just a little bit even have a window open. It doesn't have to be all the way open while you're saging. So with that idea in mind. And there definitely is the idea too that it helps to cleanse out any negativity in a room versus, but this is what I tell people. Again, these are my experiences. I don't know, other people that do it might have a different take on it a little bit, but is that it doesn't necessarily get rid of a ghost hanging around. Now, if there's negative energy attached to this spirit, then yes, it's likely it's going to help get rid of. And if that spirit is really attracted to negative energy, then, after it's been saged, they're going to maybe say, I guess I'm going to leave. So that could happen, but it's not a guarantee of getting rid of like entities necessarily or ghosts or so forth, because many ghosts and spirits that are hanging out maybe in a home are not necessarily negative. But if there's accumulation, I like to do it when there's been like just a lot of unrest in an energy space, right? Whether it's arguments, whether it's just been a lot of verbal abuse and just negative, heavy kind of stuff. I think it's really, really effective for that. The question that Daphne had about it. Okay, so yeah, if smoke is not allowed in a place, right? Exactly. Do the sprays work? Yes, they do. I have one that I really, really like. And I do use it in areas where you just can't light, you can't do that kind of thing. So yes, it does. With an intention of a prayer. It's, again, like I said, I always include that. It's a combination of your intention and a combination of the ritual that I think is really cool and it is effective. So if your intention is to clear out an energy, I mean, I could go in, any of us can go into a room with sage or without sage and set a beautiful intention in a space. And then I feel it does become that. So I think it's a nice ritual and tool to use, but yes, sprays are effective and I have used those many times. I do remote clearings by, just on the computer, and I have the person take me around on their iPad or their, from room to room. And I do I say a little prayer, and I actually on my end use my sage spray. And I've had one client who says, well, can I do it too on my end? I'm like, yes. So on her end, well, after I would say my little prayer, she would also spray her room. Her and I are spraying. And I do check on the energy afterwards, and it is different. And I've had people tell me it makes a difference when, we're using these kind of tools, like I will say. So yeah, so if that answers that part of it, first of all, sprays are really great. And then the idea, this is an interesting one. I hadn't thought about that. The essential oils through the humidifiers. Will the smoke of the humidifiers cleanse energy? I'm going to my guides on that because my guides are already saying, yep, everything, I'm talking about, they're in agreement with. But let's ask them directly about that. So what about that, guides? What about if you put essential oils in a humidifier? Does that cleanse the area? Wow, they tell me as soon as it goes out into the atmosphere, then yes, it's cleansing. It is cleansing. All the better when you are suggesting that cleansing. So they're talking about setting that intention in the prayer along with it. So yes, Daphne, I hope that answers that for you. So if I would do that. Yeah, if that's something you want to do, I think I personally would put the essential oils in the humidifier and then set the intention that when they come out, when it's out, it will cleanse the room. Any negative energy will dissipate into the light, however you want to word that. But yeah, so they seem to be thinking that they're great. So I would say again, I think it's effective. I think the ritual of it is effective. It feels good to us as well. But I also feel if you don't have those things, you can sit with prayer and set an intention as well in a space that will be very effective. Ask Archangel Michael and your healing angels or Archangel Raphael. I have actual healing angels I work with, so that's why I'm saying that. But they'll come in and help you cleanse an energy space as well. Yeah, I once just one other thing I'll add. I remember one time at my office, I was home. I don't know how I might not remember all of this exactly if I'm saying this correctly, but all I remember is that my guides were telling me that angels were there cleansing the office. And then I saw, and I must have had a reason that happened. I honestly don't remember, but it was more the visual was shown to me, and it was like house cleaners, little house cleaners, and they had little feather dusters. they were showing me going around cleansing it, and I loved that because I wasn't asking for it. It just kind of, one of those, right? That just kind of comes to you, and so it meant something all the more. I didn't forget it. So anyway, hope for what we gave you anyway is going to be helpful for you.
And
so
that was fabulous. And that was a great image as well. You can just imagine a little feather duster going in the room.
Yes.
You don't have any kind of any access to any of those implements. Sometimes you walk in a room and you're like, oh, so just a couple things to add to that I think I mentioned back on my reply to Daphne, which is, so you can, if you have access to a tuning fork or a crystal bowl, you can use sound to clear the room as well. And I just love the picture of the little image of the feather duster in your head as well. So before I started giving, doing this work officially, professionally, Bella, stop. My daughter moved in to rent a room from a friend of mine who she had a lot of issues. Just say she had a lot of issues, and she asked me to come over and clean the room, and she's like, there's something going on in here, and can you come over? And I was part of a spiritual community then, so I was fully aware of sage, and I used sage then. I don't use it now because I'm kind of sensitive to it. And I don't like the smell of it. But at that time it didn't bother me. And I lit it up and I walked her to each corner of the room. And literally as I did it, I got weak in the knees, so weak in the knees, I actually had to sit down. That's how heavy and cruddy the energy was in that room. I felt like, how you used to walk behind somebody and kick in their knees so that they would bend at the knees. That's what I felt.
Wow. Yeah.
And so and just the difference from saging each corner and then clearing it out, and it was a huge difference. But yeah, it physically impacted me. So
yeah.
So it's a good thing to do. I walk around personally with my own bubble sphere of protection, so I never really worry about those things. And that just comes from years of doing this work and doing trainings, and just I'm just automatically in that bubble of protection. So I don't ever really think about saging. But you can also cut cords, and that's also a way of cutting and clearing the energy too. So there's lots of ways to do it. Okay, that was great information, Tammy and Tammy.
Oh, and same for you.
Really helpful. So hopefully that was helpful to you, Daphne. The other thing that Daphne asked us about, there was a follow-on. Daphne has, we just have people who have inquiry minds and great questions. So I love them. Keep them coming. She asked about mantras, and I just have to say this because I thought it was very clever. She said, since it's about intention, clearing things out, she said, in that case, and it really is about tribalism and myths, and it just dates back to the beginning of humanity, where they had those rituals, and they had the intention to do things, and they had some of it was based on, I'm not going to say myth, but some of it then later became myth, But she said, in that case, should I create a new tribal myth involving ice cream? All negatives seem to disappear with ice cream.
I like that one.
Go girl. All right. So then she asked about mantras. Do mantras work because of the intentions as well? How do mantras work? So here's my experience from a more logical perspective versus a spiritual perspective. My understanding is that mantras have to do with meditation. Okay. And sometimes in certain types of meditation, you're given a mantra. But the reason you're given a mantra, and how I learned about this was actually through my NLP training, is that, well, and my hypnosis training, is that it gives your conscious mind something to do so that you are not focused on, I need to relax, I need to be calm. How do I calm my mind? I need to calm my mind. But when you give your conscious mind something to focus on, whether it's a word, a phrase, counting your breaths, this is what I have taught many of my clients. Not only is breathing important, but count the breaths in, count the breaths out, because it gives your conscious mind something to do so that all the rest of you can be open and receptive to your intention of meditation, your intention of calm, of relaxation. And that's really my understanding and intention and use with mantras. And that's for me, not necessarily my guide. So I'll ask if there's anything they want to add to that. But do you have anything that you want to add to that, Tammy?
I think what you said is great, Julie. I agree. That was my first thing I was getting is mantras really help us to just focus. You know, they're a way. Well, they're twofold. My guides are saying right now. So definitely that. I think now I'm going to interrupt myself here a moment and say that I know that for me, I like to use a simple like plus sign in my mind's eye that I go back to as my focus. I never really got into mantras. I think they're great. I don't have any judgment about them other than I think they're also really great. But my guides were impressing upon me, and now I'm just going to open up and let them say that it also helps to raise your vibration. Okay, that's where I was going to go, because what I was feeling is it does. A lot of it's about the focus. That's what we're getting as well. And then they're saying that it does actually, the more that you are focusing on, because we know sound, right, is such a vibration. And so if you're saying and repeating a mantra out loud, it feels like it actually starts to raise your consciousness up this way, they're showing me. So they gave me the word right now, valuable, actually. And, you know, again, I'm totally just listening to this because it's not something I ever really adopted for myself. In any of my meditation practices, but it really does have an effective energy to it, and there are some that are more of a higher vibration than others. So you would have to get one that resonates with you and feels good to you as you say it. You know, if you're going to get into mantras and experiment with them, pick some, and yeah, they said try them out. See how you feel when you're, you know, saying them out loud. Does it feel like it helps to raise your vibration? And so we do think there is some value to them. And, you know, this is new for me as I'm saying all of this, because I'd never thought to ask. I mean, it was a great one to come up, right, Julie? It's a great question, because many people do use them. So they're saying again, significance. I've seen valuable and significance, two words that were actually shown to me to get that across. So,
and they're saying, they were also saying, yes, it not just raises your consciousness, but your vibration. They go hand in hand.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also there are, I mean, just simply repeating Om over and over again that can be used as a mantra. There are Gregorian chants. There are many different kinds of chants. It is literally the sound, as you mentioned, that will raise that and open you up to a higher vibration. So, yeah.
Well, you know, you just exactly, well said. And you just reminded me too, there's times that I would do that just just to do, like to do notes and hold on to them, sing them. And I would just make up my own. And I can feel that my body would shift in those. And it was so relaxing to be in that exact, I don't know, whatever you call it.
So relaxing. And
Energy, I guess.
and
But
maybe
yeah.
just the sound of a cat purring.
Mhm. Yeah.
We had a cat, Tigger, long ago, and his purr was so loud, I actually recorded it and would just play it randomly periodically. It was really
That was
loud.
a meditation. You're sitting there in meditation to the sound of the purring cat.
So, I think any sound, as long as it's kind of constant, repetitive,
Yeah.
lots of meditative. So those are kind of mantras as well. Is
Yeah.
the whole point of that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's
So mantras, a good thing. So what we're hearing basically, if that's something you like, I don't know if that they're necessary, but they definitely can and add something to
for
your
people who. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
People who really struggle, and there are those who really, really struggle to quiet their mind, a mantra could be, Bella has to rub on everything. So if you hear these random noises, that's her rubbing on paper, it's her rubbing on my blinds, the computer, she's just rubbing. I don't know what was I saying?
We're talking the sound. I mean, the sound of really anything that can.
Yeah, just the repetitive sound, just the constant, continual sound should really create, find something you like, obviously.
Yeah.
And use that just to bring you into a state of calm. You'll eventually, the more you do it, the better you get at it. It just is the way it is.
Right. No, it's fun. And try the singing thing of your own voice like that, going to different, I don't know, octaves. Is that the word? But changing, letting it just a sound and then changing it to a higher, maybe, or lower too. There's something healing in that, because when I would do that, we'd feel really good.
Yeah, for sure. Singing is just, they found that it's good for, there was, I saw an interview about Tony Bennett, who is, I think, in his 90s now.
Yeah, 95.
And
he's 95 now.
He has dementia or Alzheimer's. It may be even as Alzheimer's now. And during the interview, he was like, who are you? What do you? And then all of a sudden, as he started singing, everything not just came back to him, but the music. They have found this with people who have autism and people who have dementia or Alzheimer's. The music stimulates a part of the brain that must be soothing and help with memory in a certain way. I don't know how. So the human brain. Ooh, Alarie is talking to me. Alarie just said, it used to be thought that, well, Alarie isn't saying this, but that we used a very, very, very tiny percentage of our brain. And then there was, oh no, we use a lot of our brain. Well, Alarie is telling me that it varies, number one, but we could definitely use more parts of our brain and develop other parts of our brain for use of higher consciousness. Whatever that is or means. So
yeah, no, that's great. Absolutely. That makes sense to me. And I've heard the same thing about the music, like you said. I know even for people that have a stuttering problem. Yeah, have you seen that before? There was a famous, I wouldn't remember his name, Julie. There was a famous actor or singer that had a stuttering problem. And there was that kind of therapy that he would use. It was something with singing or tapping on his leg to help him with the beat kind of thing that would help him in that. So in fact, my guides just channeled a short message on the singing, dancing, laughing, how it's just such a great energy changer, for us in healing.
Makes you feel good. You can't
Yeah.
feel bad when you're singing or humming, or you can't. You just can't feel bad. So.
Right. I don't know.
All righty. So any thoughts before we, I am not going to hum or sing us out, but
Yeah, I wish I'd practiced more because I would have done that where I used to do, but I used to just do it randomly and see if I could get to a vocal that would sound good, but not so much for singing, but just the sound,
I will tell you, I do this often. I don't even think about it. I don't know why I do this. And it has nothing to do really with anything other than I feel good when I do it, that I actually make up little songs and sing them to my kids. Like, oh, it's Maggie May's day and Maggie May is good and I feel good with Maggie May. Maggie May is good.
Lovely. See, it just raised my vibration listening to it.
It's just and they're never the same. I can never repeat them.
Yeah.
And
well, sometimes that's the help of our guys that come in and have some fun with us like that. I know that for me for
I
sure.
believe that for sure, for sure.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So
thank you for letting us entertain you today.
yes. And when I first tuned in, I was going to say this, Julie, when I first tuned in, when I went higher, before we really started, I was getting this, I'm not even know how to exactly describe it, but it was like a light, almost fun energy. And so isn't it interesting that it kind of led into that? I wasn't really trying to do it because they gave that to me, but I think they were giving me a little hint of who was working with us today or something. But yeah, messages are lighten it up for yourself, whatever way that you can, tap into that child within, have some joy. This is like Julie was mentioning, it's exactly wear your Mickey ears and be proud of those Mickey ears. Doesn't matter how old you are.
Exactly. Oh, don't let anybody judge you.
Yes. This
Unless
is not coincidental, is it, Julie? Now that I'm thinking about it, oh my gosh.
And I hope you can hear the giggle from the child. Listen.
I heard him. He's so cute.
Oh, silly is good.
Yeah, it
makes
is.
you feel just good. So
Healing.
be silly today.
Silly is healing. And ring a bell if you see one. Okay, I don't know why I'm saying that, but I kind of know why I'm saying that. But I do. I was in Hobby Lobby the other day. My husband chuckled at me because he was behind me and there was a strip of bells and I just went by and made sure to jingle it as it went by. That's my son in my fifth house again. But also, and they're angelic.
Yeah.
If you see a bell, ring it, if it makes sense. But you know what I mean. You're not waking everybody up in the house or something, but ring a bell.
Just feels good.
Yeah.
It's good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this. It was about having fun today. So we hope you will go out and have some fun this week. If it's not today, make it this week. I've got cat hair on my mouth. So what a shock. And keep sending us your questions. And thank you. And we so appreciate your questions and your support and your love. And there's so much love for you. It's there. And so we tap into that whenever we channel for you. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Anything to, you know where to find us, to Psychic Moms, Biz Psychic, Tammy's Intuitive Services.
I'd like to add too that I do a lot of channeled messages on my Facebook and Instagram pages, which is under Tammy's Intuitive Services. So check those out if you're looking for a little inspiration. We love to share those and it feels good delivering them. So thank you.
Thank you so very much. And with our gratitude and love, we will see you until next time. We'll see you next week. This is Tammy and Julie saying make it a great week.
Bye-bye.